Hey, how's everybody doing today? Wanted to give a quick update on kind of the midway progress of uh, putting on all the turbo stuff to my K24 Swapped Civic. Um, for those of you guys that have followed along, I'm sure you kind of know where the car's been or what's on it. But at this point, I just kind of want to show you guys where I'm at. Um, I'm probably about midway. And part of the delay is I've got a 6-month-old. It's my first kid. He's just almost 7 months, 6.5 months, and I try to help out with him as much as I can. But luckily, thankful my wife has let me come out and be able to work on the car a little bit. So as you can see, it's starting to come along. I wanted to talk about some of the things that I've had to change going from all motor to the turbo setup, and that's what we'll go over here. So right now I'm kind of getting everything mocked up. Things aren't fully, snugged down all the way. I've taken the turbo on and off a couple times, just mocking stuff up. I've got parts all over the place. But anyways, so I've got this manifold here. It's a PLM manifold, and this here, it's a Rev 9 6662 with a T3 flange turbo. And so something that's kind of unique that I thought I'd share with you guys. You can see I've got the feed line here, and it's coming over to right here. I've got it set up right here. This is what I'm calling an oil distribution block. I don't know if you can see it very well. But what it is I've got the feed line. So I don't know if I can get down here. I've got where the factory oil pressure sensor is. I've got a 12-inch feed line going into the bottom of this distribution block, and then this block is how it's basically giving me an access point for the oil pressure sensor for the factory motor, and then also an oil pressure sensor for my gauge inside the car. And then on the far end, I've got my oil feed line coming off and feeding the turbo. So what that oil distribution block is basically a vacuum distribution block, is what you'll see it as online. I've got something similar over here I can show you guys. So this is a vacuum distribution block, so you can tie into your vacuum line, and then you can gain access to run additional vacuum fittings off of that. So taking that and then bringing that over to this, I'm basically taking that same concept and using it for oil distribution. So in the past, many moons ago, I had a turboed B series, and I used the oil sandwich plate adapter, and I've actually got one over here, right here, and this thing actually leaked on me. When I first put the car together, I put this on it all motor, and as soon as I did my first startup, this thing was leaking. I don't know, if it's the gasket seal, what it was, but I was basically just not going to mess with it at that time, and ended up just taking it off. But what I like about my new setup compared to one of these is that I can access it a lot easier. So like right here, I can access all this. So if something's leaking, I can see it real easy. I'm not having to, get underneath the car or something like that. I can just kind of see what's going on. And I don't know, it seemed easier. I'll let you guys know how it goes upon startup. Hopefully I don't fight any leaks or anything like that. So anyways, I got the feed fitting on the turbo, and I got the return fitting. You can't really see it too well, but that's going to have a 5/8 return line. I've got that right there, that blue hose. And over here I've got a portion of the downpipe. And and the other half's over here. So I'll be running a full downpipe into a full exhaust. Okay, so also another thing is, if you guys watch my previous videos, it used to be from my fuel pressure regulator, my high pressure line went to center feed right here, at the center of the fuel rail, and I've changed it around to where now the feed from the fuel pump is now, of course, running through that filter, but then it's coming around into this side of the fuel rail and then out, and then the line's going up and over to the regulator, and then regulating from there, and then it's kind of hard to see, and then I got the return line, and then I just blocked off this other side. So before, my feed was coming in right at this other side of the regulator and then feeding off to the motor, but with it being turbo, I wanted to regulate after the fuel rail. It's just a best practice, so that's how I got it set up. Let's see, you can see I got the intercooler mounted. For that, I cut just a little clearance area out right here and put 2 bolts in at the top. And then something I've yet to do is get down here at the bottom. There's another couple threaded bungs right there. I'll probably tie into the traction bar and try to get a video of what I end up doing with that. But basically, it's coming along. So got over here, I got the blow-off valve, all that stuff. Oh, something else, I also just here recently, I got the dump tube put on today. You can see back here, that's the dump tube. The wastegate's kind of hard to see, but it's underneath the turbo, right back in here. So it's a 44 millimeter wastegate. This is it's an eBay wastegate, you know, eBay turbo, which it's Rev 9's the brand, and then eBay blow-off valve. So it's a really pretty cheap setup, but it should make some good power, I'm hoping. One other thing, an issue I ran into with this turbo manifold, if you guys end up using it, is the wastegate came straight down onto one of the heater core hoses. Well, let's see here. Well, just real quick before I go over here, check this out. I got this billet upper water neck housing. PQI is the brand. And I had to get that because this is the OEM one that was on the motor. And so the problem was this fitting right here basically went straight into my wastegate. And so I needed to reroute that heater core hose because I am planning on keeping the heat in the car. I got the motorcycle for when it's nice out, and I want to be able to enjoy the car in the wintertime as well. So I wanted to be able to run that heater core hose. This PQY billet housing, it's got this fitting right here that it's going to be running straight out. I don't know if you can see it real well, but it's got that 5/8 barbed fitting that's running straight out instead of going back towards the firewall. And so what I plan on doing is just running some hose from that and then just, you know, fishing it around up to the firewall. And so I'll have to get some special hoses to be able to do that. But that's kind of my plan in order to keep the heat in the car. So let's see what else. Yeah, pretty much I'm right now just worried about getting all the oil lines going. You know, mocking up make sure that my positioning of the turbo and everything's right. The wastegate clocking for the dump tube's right. And then once all that's done, I'll start worrying about the cold side and all the turbo piping. My plan as of now is these U-shaped pipes. I've got 2 of them. These are identical, and this is all part of that kit right there. It's like $100 for all these intercooler piping and couplers. So that basically will get me through. I'm gonna set it down for now, but it's all just, I'm mocking it up at this point. I'll sit on the ground. But that'll get me from the intercooler into the engine bay, and then of course to the turbo and to the throttle body. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So like I said, I had to tweak the fuel for the turbo setup, change the oil pressure setup, and then just getting everything ready for the intercooler and all the piping. So sorry for the delay, but working at it the best I can. And if you guys got any questions, just comment below. And thanks for checking in. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.